Hello Math Stars. This video is going to be on decimals and I'm going to split this into two separate videos. The first video that I'm going to do right now is going to be about adding and subtracting decimals, and that is page 26 and page 29 in your booklet. Before we move on to page 26, I want to show you this reference chart. I will make sure I post this reference chart in the description part of this video. If you have not already done so, watch the place value video. Please go back and watch that place value video first. It's just a good reminder of the place values and what the positions mean and the values of each position. So we're talking about a decimal. What is a decimal? Okay, a decimal means parts of a whole. Okay, this is our decimal point. Anything to the right of a decimal point means parts of a whole. Okay, so that's our decimal, and it means parts of a whole. Anything to the left of a decimal, those are our whole amounts. Okay. So when we talk about adding decimals, you have to line the decimals up. You have to then add normally and drop the decimal straight down into the sum. And if you remember, a sum is your answer to a addition problem. Okay, always, no matter what page you're working on, always work to remind yourself of important math language, knowing what the word sum means. So when you add, you have to add the decimals or line the decimals up, and then you just bring the decimals straight down. Where this is more important, I'll just give you a quick show here. Where this is most important is if you're given a number that says 1 7/10 plus 2 46/100. If you have to add those together, some of you might want to just do this. 2 46, 1 7/10. But we did not line our decimals up. You're going to get incorrect answers. Okay, because you're not technically adding a 10th and a 10th. You're adding a 10th plus, what's two place values over? 100th. Okay, we have to keep them lined up. So don't do that. If I have 2 46/100, 1 goes under my whole, 7 goes under my tenths. You can do it that way. And you can add a place value, a placeholder, just to remind yourself not to have that 7 kind of squish on over. Okay. 4 16/100. Okay. So for subtracting decimals, it's the exact same thing. Line up the decimals, subtract normally, drop the decimal straight down into your answer. Okay, the same thing here. These just automatically line up. Okay, but if you had a problem that I can use the same numbers up top. If I have 2 76/100, take away 1 7/100. Has to be lined up. So 2 46, take away 1 7. Still use your placeholder so your 7 doesn't squish over. 6 take away 0 is 0. I have to borrow, right? Comes a 1. This, oh, sorry, I was going to cross it out. This becomes a 14. 14 take away 7 is 7. 1 take away 1 is 0. So, am I done? No. So if I don't drop my decimal down, then it looks like 70 wholes, but it's not. It's 7/10 or 70/100. So lining up your decimals is the most tricky part of adding and subtracting decimals, and that's it. That's the trickiest thing you have to do. You just have to remember, line your decimals up. Okay, and we'll talk about the other two in our next video. So let's go to page 26. Now, they don't give you a ton of room to show all of your work, so feel free to have a piece of scrap paper and to do some side work. And if you write small, then fit it in. That's fine. I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit so it's not so hard for you to see. And let's go to problem 1. Again, the top just tells you the exact same thing. Make sure all decimal points are lined up. You have to. You bring the decimals straight down, and then you add like you normally would. So I'm going to try to write small enough to just list all of my work right here. So I have 3 and 2/10, 21 and 14/10. Did you see how I had to put the 1 under the 3? Because this is my ones column. And then 321. So my hundreds, tens, ones, decimal point, tenths. Okay. Now, if you want to put placeholders in there, just to remind yourself that, numbers don't go switching over, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm going to squish my answer in there small. Okay, 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 plus 2 is 4. And then 3. And then bring that decimal straight down. So it's 346. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. 346 and 24 hundredths. It wouldn't help whenever you deal with decimals. It wouldn't hurt to just make your quick think track. Right? Here's my ones column, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. 1. Making a think track and reminding yourself of a quick fact that you're going to have to know every single year you're in school is not going to hurt you. So anytime you have the opportunity to remind yourself of something small, go ahead and do it. Make that think track on every decimal page. I'll show you another one. I'm not going to do all the pages. I'll do a couple problems and then I will show you the answer key. Okay? Again, add up your decimals because my 1 is here and my 1's are over here. The 5 is over here. So you have to make sure everything lines up. 6 and 416. 25 and 3. So you know that decimal is going to go right there at the end. If you need to, add some placeholders. 6 plus 0 is 6. 1 plus 0 is 1. 4 plus 3 is 7. 6 plus 5 is 11. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 31 and 716 thousandths. Always say that last name. Thousandths of the last digit. Okay, show you one more. 14 and 6/10, 3/10, 1 and 257 thousandths. I'm going to move it over so it doesn't run into the problem. I'll move it over here. 14 and 6/10, 3/10, 1 and 257 thousandths. Again, if you want to put in placeholders so your numbers don't shift over, go ahead and do that. 7, 5, 11, 4, 5, 6, and 1. Carry my decimal down. 16 and 157 thousandths. Okay. I'm going to zoom back out. So I would say make sure you complete this page first. Okay. And I wanted to point out in the other videos that you can work at your own pace. A student can complete this page in 10 minutes. A student might just complete the top part in 10 minutes. That's okay. Do what you can. You don't have to complete the whole pages. Some of these pages have lots of problems on them. You don't have to complete them all at once. Okay. So again, the most important thing we're going to write, remind yourself, write it on the top of your paper. Make sure you line up decimals. That's the most important thing to remember for adding and subtracting decimals. Okay? So if you haven't done so, pause the video, stop the video, complete your page. Here is the answer key. And there you go.